Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome. I'm sorry I missed yesterday, which was the 11th, but I actually thought it was so late by the time I got around to doing it that I figured let's do it during the Gemini full moon, which is about two messages, double sides. So today we'll do the 11th and the 12th. So the first card for the 11th is Oh, nice. It's actually the 24 card, which is funny. This is from the Lenormand deck. This is the love message. And usually with Lenormand, it gets clarified with another card. But this is a message of feelings of love. What do you love? Am I loving myself enough? Am I loving someone else enough? So it's basically issues having to do with love and feelings of love. Now let's see what the 12th says. This one says, oh, interesting. This is a love card also. So this one says, I can attract relationships that agree with my desires. And you see from the two hands, it's sort of like reaching out. And remember, this card came up the other day as to kind of like coming in. Remember that there was sort of like a stillness that was going to be required in order to sort of connect these dots. And that this, oh God, look at that. That's a 12 card. That's amazing. So this 12 card on the 12th of the 12th month, let's read what it says here together. It says, so people are not finding it difficult to find the mate of their dreams because that person is not out there, but because of their own contradiction to their own desire in the thoughts they offer about the subject every day. Now, this kind of calls up here. Do you remember this card from the first, which is talks about fickle, maybe asking for roses and accepting daisies. And I'll put this card because it recalls that flower that's on the love message. And this is another topic that's kind of been running through about something looking like one thing on the exterior but being something else underneath, and that until we were able to sort of be still with ourselves and channel the message from our higher self and actually make a decision about arming ourselves with that decision, that once we did that, we were able to sort of share that with the world, causing a feeling of abundance that comes here with the Empress. And there was a suggestion that we take a step back in order to see the situation from a different perspective and to remain stillness. So like to me, well, let me continue with this message and then I'll pull them all together. So it says, when you consistently offer thoughts about your future relationship that feel good while you think them, that means you're consistently matching the desires that you have discovered as you live life. And under those conditions, only someone in agreement with your desires could come to you. So this is a very interesting message for anyone who's dealing with a romantic situation. So the idea here is very much pay attention to your thoughts because they are what ends up composing your universe. So whatever, if you consistently put out two separate messages of, I want this, but I'll accept that, then it's impossible for that one right thing to come to you. And these are our energy channels, the center of our hands, and that when we put out from our physical body, the energy that we receive from our higher self, but also that emanates from our energy body, that's when that's when we come into alignment with when our thoughts are in one singular direction, that's what comes back into us. However, when we put thoughts into multiple solutions, or we're on the fence, as a Gemini moon might be on the fence about which way do I go, left or right, and what this is saying, and interesting because Gemini, is about community, and here this is another 12 card. So okay, so here's kind of what's going on. 12, 12, which is a 3. This is also a 3. So here's the message, right? At this Gemini full moon, it is important to put to bed this dual-sidedness of I want this, but I want this. I want this, but I want this. Or I want this, but I'm accepting this. And concentrate very much on what it is. Concentrate and channel one message, right? One thing. What's the one thing that I want? To take these two and to turn it into one solid focused direction. Because when you get the one solid focused direction, the idea sprouts wings and becomes abundance, right? And so being able to sort of look at, you may have been involved in some, whatever that sort of indecision was, or confusion, or multiple messaging that you've been sending out to the universe, that we were asked to sort of take a step back to focus our meditation, our thoughts from a different perspective. And, you know, these are all the same kind of message here. It's like to channel information from a higher plane, stepping from without our day-to-day lives to clarify our thinking, right? So that, you know, whatever these two things are, we can sort of cut that in half and it becomes one. Now, the one thing is where you're going to invest your heart. So what's the one thing you want to put your heart into? What's the one thing you want to sing from the rooftop, right? And this is another 12, so this feeds into today's energy about this full moon, because you can only attract things that agree with your desires. If your desires are multiple, you're going to have pieces of multiple things coming in, but never the one thing. You know, you'll have pieces of multiple things coming in, but you're never going to have the one thing that you want. Like the one thing that may keep flying away and escaping you, because right now you're accepting different pieces of a different being. So, okay. Sorry, these cards are starting to get crazy. So now it may be a love situation. Like if you're trying to call in a relationship, or if you're dealing with a relationship that may not be playing out the way you want, I would suggest sorry, you can't see that. That's the reflection. You know, to take some time and sort of channel what it is that you truly desire. I don't know if any of you watch Lucifer, that show in the United States. I just started watching it. I'm in Italy. We're like 20 years behind. But, you know, so what is it that you truly desire? And don't be afraid to communicate that. Because whatever's in your heart, you have to communicate what's in your heart if you want it to come to you, right? It can only come to you if you know what it is. I mean, I think everyone would agree that like when you finally make a decision and you're like, I want to go in that direction, all of a sudden the doors start flying open, don't they? You know, it's while we're on the fence and like, oh, I could go here, I could go there, or I could do this, or I could do that. You know, the weighing out, that Mars and Libra that we were stuck with for so long, weighing out, like, do I want to go this way? Do I want to go that way? Do I want a sword, or do I want this other thing? As long as you're holding two things in your hands, you can't focus your attention on growing anything because you're still trying to balance out the energies. And so what this is suggesting is, I keep making a mess, to really focus, you know, withdraw into yourself, into your mind, get some stillness to be able to put these thoughts together into like the shape that you want them to take, to figure out what this song is that's in your heart. I'm going to try and put this in the middle. There we go. And look at that. The 12 and the 12 lead to the 24, right? So when you figure out what's in your heart and you're able to sing it out to the universe, to put it out to the universe like these hands, is when it's able to, that one thing is able to come into you. So I would take the energy of this Gemini full moon, which is all about the two, and figure out which one of the two has to go. Do we want roses or do we want daisies? And if we want roses, why do we keep taking daisies? And maybe we want daisies, and actually the rose, it's like there's not one of these are not right or wrong. There are people who prefer daisies to roses. Perhaps roses are too intense or too whatever. But if you are a rose person and you keep taking daisies, of course you're going to be unhappy. If you're a daisy person and you keep going after roses, of course you're going to be unhappy. The point is to find what what flower makes your heart bloom, and express that and focus on that and direct your energy only on that, singing that one song. So what's the song that lies at your heart? If you had to ask for one thing from the universe, what would it be? And I think that's what this Gemini full moon today is giving us the occasion to do. Okay, so sorry again for missing yesterday. I hope this was clear, and I will see you tomorrow on the 13th. Have a great afternoon.